Morning everybody. Raclet trailer tent sprinter. Today I'm going to try and start sorting out the diesel heater. Well, I've had a start. We've got it mounted at the front at the moment and I've took it apart. So what I'm going to do, minus one cover, minus one horrible fuel tank. And we've got the diesel heater there. So I used to have it mounted there, all these gubbins and whatnot, on the A-frame to the front. So as you were camping, what would happen is that Muggins here would have to get a hose from here and it will go down around underneath and connect underneath to a red spigot. Let's see if we can spot it for you, just there. And inside the camper, hopefully I'll show you with the video later on, there are two outlets into the actual camper, only about yay big, about 1.5 inch. So that just gently feeds heat into the bedroom area. If anyone's got a camper trailer, they'll understand what I mean. And the awning part at the back of the trailer, I've got a bigger outlet, which is this one here. So that will heat up the awning part where we're not using our lovely fire stove. So, because none of us are getting any younger, I've just turned 43, yay for me, I'm going to try and mount that underneath here, in between the chassis, probably just in front of where the axle is, just bearing in mind where the brakes are run up. That's the idea. So I'm going to try that. So we don't have to keep faffing around of hooking up the tube from there underneath. Because when the canvas is over the front there, it comes down to the floor and I have to kind of budge it in. It's not great. It works, but it's not the best. So that's today's idea. So first thing I'm going to do, after I took that apart anyway, I'm going to try and keep that bracket to try and mount it underneath. I will see, it's work in progress. So bear with me. So got to try and mount that underneath. But I need to raise all of this up so I can get my big butt underneath there. I could use the feet, but they're just for stabilisers. They're not meant to carry the whole weight of the caravan. They can, it's not ideal. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to use a front jack to jack the whole front of the trailer up first, and then I'm going to use a car jack at the back, raise all that up, and I'm going to try and I don't know, dominoes effect on like pieces of wood or something like that to hold it solid, because when I'm underneath this part here I'm going to need to put some nuts and bolts in, and to do that I'm going to have to drill some holes, so it's going to have to stay solid, otherwise someone's going to look like the pancakes he made this morning. So wish me luck. I've got the time lapse going at the back. Nice thing is it doesn't catch all the swearing and everything I'm going to do, or the cuts of my fingers, so wish me luck. Right, hello everybody again. I failed to record that bit, so I do apologise. I'm just going to mount you back there. Here against one of the stabiliser legs. Don't move. Stay. So, got my connector thingy, my jig, do that. This is the centre of the camper, about here towards the back of the legs. This is the front towards the A-frame. So I'm going to have to mount this towards the front, which is fine, it's not a problem, because I want the inlet of the diesel heater, which is that end. I want the inlet to be facing towards the back of the trailer, so as we're travelling along the road it's not forced in and straight into the camper, because it might be wet, it might be muddy, you never know. But I don't want that, because the road is full of crap. You don't want stuff going into the trailer. Not when you're packed up in your bag and put it away for winter, you know, you just, less risk the better. So if it's facing the back, the inlet's facing the back, then hopefully it will draw air from inside the trailer. It's not going to be a lot, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to have to mount it that direction, which helps a bit, which is good because I've got the exhaust and the inlet on that side for the combustion chamber, so that will hopefully mount there, and then this will hopefully mount here. And I've got a 90-degree bracket, so I should be able to mount that one. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm going to do my necking underneath here. I would like to turn the camper on the side of that. See you in a bit. Right, here we go again. I think I've got an idea. The original side bit, I've chopped the top of it. So, I should be able to get it up in here and bolt it through the chassis, which is what I was on about. And then the other side of it, oh, hold on a second, the other side of it, I'll be able to bolt to the wooden floor. Hopefully, that's the idea. Where's my camera? There it is. Wrong. It's upside down. So, wish me luck. Alright, here we go again. Bit portrait mode this time. Might be a bit easier. So, got it mounted. Bolt, bolt, bolt. That's the original top. And if we go underneath now, hopefully, you can see it. I've mounted at the top 6 3/4 inch screws, plywood 3/4, so that is pretty much good. So these litre down here, mounted here, exhaust and supply of the air will be that side, so I can route the exhaust pipe along that side and then out towards the 8 frame at the front and try and connect it onto here. That is the plan. Let's get to it. Hello everyone again. I'm underneath, as you can see. I'm on the side. So there we go. It's mounted. 3 bolts, 6 screws into the top, bolted on there, exhaust and inlet on that side. This is the heat outlet, this part. So I've already got a 90-degree. That came with the heater anyway, so that will pop on there. But I'm going to have to make an adapter to go from this bit to the square. And looking up, this is where a 3D printer comes in. So it's going to be a bit interesting to make that, I think. So what I might do is I might make a stop end here. With this, we'll just go straight into it, and it will just go up the tube. And then what I might do is I might remove this pipe here, which is 40mm, and put it in there, so it's got more of a direct line of sight. But we'll see. Have a play, shall we? Sorry, I'm sideways. Yeah, that's better. See everyone in a bit. Bye. Right, just a bit of 3D printing. Let's see if we can get this little adapter made. Quick bit of Tinkercad onto the yellow goo. See if it's come out quite nicely. Let's go and see if it fits. Right, back at it again. I've got the original one off, which is down here. That's what it used to look like. That was the other inlet for the camper. So the diesel heater used to plug into that bit and blow air across here. Bit went in there, bit went further along with the body, and most of it just went out into the awning. So I'm replacing all of this with this bit. So I've got 2 screws already there. So this inlet is obviously that red bit, and then that outlet is obviously where that outlet is, and it should fit nice and neat. Hang on, that orientation, so it'll fit up inside there. That is the plan. See how we go. Right, managed to get it on. Took a couple of little extra Jubilee clips, but that's the 3D bracket I needed to make. That's the bit that goes actually into the first cubby hole of the camper, and then this part here comes off the diesel here, which is got the orientation right in. So there. So win-win. Hopefully it works. See you later. So a bit of wrap on the exhaust pipe coming out of the diesel, coming up to the silencer, and then to keep the silencer away from the camper base, I've got a couple of little pieces of 15mm pipe. They're about 40mm, almost into the 3/4. So keep that away from me. And Donna's talking to me because she thinks I'm talking to her. There she is.
Hi.
Yeah, so first bit on. So this exhaust will go along here and then hopefully out that way. I've already got it sorted out pre there, but it's getting nice and solid. Right, managed to mount the exhaust. Got it all wrapped up, which is quite nice. So front or the rear camper, whatever you want to say, it's the drawbar side, so that's where it's coming out. And if I go underneath, I've used stainless steel builder strap, and then you can see it going underneath. So I followed the A-frame of the camper trailer, because as the tent comes down, it splits over the A-frame, so it's got clearance. So it's all exhaust wrapped, and if we go underneath, that's a better shot, so you can see where the diesel heater is now. Silencer there, and it's spaced away from the actual base of the camper. Some more stainless steel wrap on there, the bracket holding it, and it's solid, which is good, and that is solid too. And then self-tapping screws here, so I might just tap these round, just make it a little bit safer. But there we go. So the exhaust is going to be coming outside the camper. So, hey, fuel line next. Good luck. Right, here we go again. I did start the diesel heater a couple of days ago and it ran perfectly fine under here, well, not a problem. Ran it for about half an hour, but on top of the exhaust, that got quite warm. You could touch it, but it was like, yeah, nah. So got myself some aluminium exhaust shield and I've stuck it on there, so a double layer now. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to sort the cabling out. You don't need to see me do that. I'm just going to sort that cable out and push it towards the back or the entrance of the camper, and I'm just going to put it in some of the slinky just to protect it from a bit of the road salts, you know. Well, we'll see. So let's get on with this. Alright, back at it again. Oh, you got a bit of fluff on the camera. Yeah. Just doing the electrics now. So with the diesel heater, I've got it going underneath. It's going to pop out over here hopefully. I'm going to put a disconnect switch on it, one of those, around here, so I can isolate it, turn it off if I need to. That's my old solar charge controller, which is good old Amazon special. So I'm going to replace it with a Victron Energy one for a change, a proper one. So it should look a little bit neater. So if you hear someone sniffing in the background,
It's me.
she's got a cold. There, good example right there. So let's get to it. Right, managed to do it, just about. Bit fiddly, no swear words involved. Managed to get it fitted. So, Victron maximum power point tracker's fitted. Nice bulk charging sorted, and I've got my diesel heater switch already done with a little light on so we can tell when it's on or not. And then we want to turn it off, do it that way. Don't turn it off that way when it's running. Make sure it's always on. Power it down on the key fob or the controller. Our controller is here. Wait for it to power down completely first before you ever disconnect the power to it, if you ever need to. But I'll put that on, so if there is a problem with it, it decides to foul up, because it is a Chinese diesel heater. So yeah, so a bit of security for ourselves. So we've got the fuses for all the connector plugs. So that's from the solar. There's 400 watts of solar on top of the camper at the moment. USB charging, quick charging, and then we got our cigarette lighter port on the outside. So this will be actually in the awning part. And then actually in the camper itself, we've got 2 USBs there, another cigarette lighter socket, and then over the very far back, if I get my finger there, there's exactly the same again. Don't worry about this cable. That's where I used to plug the diesel heater in. So while I'm here, this is the ductwork for the 2 vents that come into the camper. So that's what I did a 3D print for. So there's one there. They're very small, only about 40mm, that's all they are. But when you're sort of like sitting in bed inside, when it's got the 2 outlets, it keeps in here warmish. You don't want a hot place, do you? So of course underneath it comes out to this bigger vent on this one, which is where this one comes into the awning. So yeah, it's all ready for a little trip. Oh, that wooden box, would you believe, is actually a lithium battery. I kind of make them. If you're going to do a lithium battery DIY, you best know what you're doing. Don't faff around with them. So this has got the prismatic cells in. They're 120 amps each, 12 volts, so there's 4 cells. Anderson connector with the quick disconnect on it. All the stuff that I've got is the Anderson connector, so they can all unplug. But if you noticed, grey, green for the solar. So the solar's got the green connectors on it as well. So the green won't go into the grey. The grey won't go into the red. And the red Anderson connector goes to our table, which we haven't got set up outside at the moment. But underneath the table, there's got basically 3 USB outs and cigarette lighter port both sides. So we can do our festival lights and camping fridge freezer, gotta have that, and also the cigarette lighter output for the little sink that I made, which has got, so we've got running water, sort of. It's 10 litre tub, but it's running. You'll see it next time we have it set up. We'll show you around. So yeah, we've kept the camper as original as we can, keeping all the original fixtures inside, but I've just electrically modified it so it's actually better and whatnot. So this concludes my little faffing video for the Raclet Tri-Tent Sprinter. So yeah, next time you see me, hopefully it's all set up and we're actually camping somewhere. See you later everybody, take care, on to the next one.